You're here because you want to take attention-grabbing, mostly evoking outdoor lifestyle photos that tell a story, but the ones you're taking aren't engaging enough. It's probably because they're bad. This isn't all your fault. Visual storytelling is really hard, and there's also a lot of really bad examples online today. Whether your goal is to get more likes on Instagram, build a portfolio, or land that brand deal you've been dreaming of, get ready to take some notes because you're going to learn how to starting now. Whether you're taking outdoor adventure, travel, lifestyle photos for large brands, clients, or telling your story as an influencer, there's a few things you have to keep in mind to take the best photos that tell an original, captivating story surrounding you, an environment, a product, or all together. Today, you're about to learn the importance of understanding who the brand is and how your personal story amplifies that brand. To accomplish that though, we need to hitch a ride through this wormhole and go back to the beginning of what is outdoor adventure travel lifestyle photography. Outdoor lifestyle photography aims to capture portraits in situations, real life events, or milestones that take place every day in an artistic way, which is set either in the vast wilderness, a cozy cabin around a campfire, mountain peak, or wherever your subject best fits in, which expands the overall story. We can't confuse lifestyle photography with product photography. Product photography accurately presents the product in its environment. For example, this pot over the campfire. You may notice product photos tend to be taken as close-up shots or extreme close-up shots. They're a lot more intimate and usually they're taken with telephoto or macro telephoto lenses, whereas lifestyle inspires the viewers by telling the story of how the product is used by people like you in a particular environment. You don't want to feature the product alone, like you're just holding it out in your hands. When you're getting ready to start shooting, you need to decide whether your style of shooting is more candid, polished, or a combination of the two. Candid photography is also called uncontrolled action photography. There's simply little to no planning involved. You would give your model or models the product, and then you would provide a set for them to act freely upon while you shoot them, or bring them into an environment and photograph them engaging with everything in that environment. And polished is all controlled action photography. There's a whole pre-production and production process. You'll usually have lights, props, and poses for each shot. Now I've spent enough time explaining what lifestyle photography is, so let's move on to the last but most important section before we even pick up a camera. Did you know 60% of people discover new products through lifestyle photography? So researching what your product history is will help you tell a more captivating story before you add your own touch to it. Let's say our product is this bandana. Obviously I know why I use the bandana and what my style is, so all of that, all my why is going to be my secondary focus. My first focus is making sure my photos align with their messaging. How do I do that? I will go to their website and read their about me, look at their photos and ask myself how they tell their story on their website. Then to get a more personal feel for the brand, I will head over to their Instagram to see if there's any similarities between their styles and mine. After I browse their website, Instagram feed, and people who've tagged them in their photos, take a few moments to storyboard or create a shot list of photos that will help align their story with mine. The goal here is not to produce exact like images or ripoffs. This is where you should be thinking, how can I tell their story with my own voice to produce a fresh, original look? Then once I have a clear understanding of how the brand and I are aligned, head out to my location to tell that story. Now I usually already have a location set because when I'm scouting for places I can shoot wildlife, landscape, nature, and outdoor lifestyle. But just for efficiency's sakes, I'm gonna shoot this one at a campground. No matter what though, you wanna pick a location that speaks to you and your subject. Now take me for example. I have an outdoor page. I strive to work with outdoor brands, so I'm gonna choose a setting that is, well, outdoorsy. Now, if you're planning a shoot or you're planning to shoot like I do, you need to make sure you have everything you need with you that's gonna help set the scene, AKA props. Now, for me being an outdoorsman, I'm gonna make sure that I have my fire starter stuff, my hatchet, knife, my gloves, tent, and everything else. These are all storytelling additives that are gonna help amplify the scene to help those who identify with these activities also identify with the Dixon Rand bandana. Once I get to my location, I'm going to take a few test shots while I walk around and look for the right area to set up and stage my photo shoots. For the camera settings where we want them right now, I move on to setting up camp. While I'm setting up, I stay in the moment and I'm thinking of compositions, almost like if I were watching a movie about the activities I'm doing in my head. This is where we start combining the ingredients of what we've learned up to this point. To take the first set of photos, we're gonna look back on the research section where I ask myself, how does the company represent these bandanas in their photos and how would I represent them in my own story? Again, as someone who spends their time outdoors, hiking, camping, and creating content, I'm gonna grab some shots explaining and showing the reasons how and why someone like me would use this bandana outdoors. Like tying the bandana as I put it on, putting my hat on, wearing it around my neck, or wiping the dirt off of my hands. After I get a couple shots showing the how and why someone would use this bandana outdoors, I'm gonna broaden my storytelling sense and start taking photos of who would be wearing this outdoors. Well, that's easy, me. And because I wear these everywhere, I would get some shots of me restringing my guitar, handling my camera gear, starting a fire, and so on. To do this, I set up my camera, readjust the exposure settings if I need to, and turn on the self timer so that I can pose and the camera can take the photo. This will give the photos a polished look because I'm actually doing the action that I'm photographing. Here's where I will often play with my shutter speed, testing out photos where I'm freezing the action that I'm doing in each shot, or slowing my shutter down enough where I'm getting motion blur. Motion blur's imperfection or stylistic choice, in my opinion, adds a relatable touch to our photos because we see with motion blur already. Sometimes this process can take a few times because I'm shooting self-portraits and I'm doing it by myself. But there are ways to make this process easier. If you're shooting self-portraits like I do, comment below a camera emoji where you would like to see a video where I go a little bit more into depth about how to do this. So far, have you noticed the common denominator between all the photo examples that I've shown you so far? They're all wide shots. The lens I use most for my lifestyle photos is a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. Wide lenses like this are used in visual storytelling to help set the scene. Next time you watch a movie, pay attention to the opening shots because I guarantee you there are usually wide shots. The story that we're trying to tell here is the product and its environment being used by its target audience. Now, if you want to get more intimate shots in your lifestyle photography, try using anything from a 50 to an 85 millimeter lens. These are beauty lenses and they're going to make the photos look more aesthetically pleasing. Remember though, you still want to be subtle in the way that you do this. If it's too on the nose, then you're leaning more towards product photography, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. And now you have a great idea of how to take captivating and original lifestyle photos that tell a story. But if you want to know what my two favorite lenses are, go ahead and give this video a watch.